Hey y'all, Patrick James, Cold Dead Hands, Black Coffee Perspectives and Into the Fray, and
Jon Double Tap Britain, Midnight Munchies, Food for Thought, Cold Dead Hands, and Into the Fray.
Into the Fray. And it's No Shave November.
Is it really?
It is, because it's like up to my eyeballs in hair.
I look like this all the time, so.
Yeah, that Apache beard.
Easy.
So, it's been a while since we did a video, so we apologize to all those who are watching the video series that we do. We've been doing
we've
live
had
podcasts.
we've been doing some live feed, and of course there's been like an election or something going on that's attracted a lot of attention.
Yeah.
So we've kind of had our hands full and haven't really had a chance to sit down and chat with you.
No, we haven't had a chance to actually look at making a script like we try to do.
That we never stick to anyway, but
follow along with some kind of theme. But so, I think for today, we're just going to take some topics off the top of our head and we're going to beat them up for a couple of minutes. I'm sure they're topics that you're thinking about, that you're concerned about. And so let's just pull one out of the
air. Say air, Pat.
Let's pull one out of the nether regions. Let's pull one off of the interwebs that we see on a regular basis.
There's so many.
There is. I'm working on an article right now, and it's actually turning into a book. So for all those who follow along with my Black Coffee Perspective, be prepared. You might have to read in a couple of days. What's one of the biggest things that you've been thinking about and reading about lately?
Oh, well, you mean besides the election or the conspiracy theories surrounding the election?
Where's my Stetson? Is it time to put on the tinfoil Stetson? Folks, it's time to put it on, dust it off, get used to it, break it in. Because I'm telling you right now, they abound.
I'll tell you something that's starting to be a topic of conversation.
No, I'm not going to pimp my book. Digital Conspiracy, A Frail New World, Digital Conspiracy. Yes, I am a tinfoil Stetson hat wearing guy.
Well, this should be right up your alley then. Because one of the things that's starting to make its debut mainstream is something that the tinfoil hat types have known about for a while. It's called the Great Reset.
The Great Reset. Yep.
As a matter of fact, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau literally just mentioned it openly the other day, talking about how coronavirus and global warming and all that good stuff gives them the opportunity to reset the economy.
Reset the economy. What does that mean? Does that mean debt free for everybody?
No, that's Jubilee. That's a biblical thing that we probably should explore more too. But
yeah, for me, I probably need to.
Yeah. No, but the Great Reset is, in layman's terms, it's called a reset of global capitalization.
Yep.
Or global capitalism. In layman's terms, it's global socialism.
Well, yeah. Okay, they're going to tell you it's global socialism, but yeah, we know what socialism breeds itself into, cannibalizes itself.
Communism.
Marxism, fascism. Yeah.
Basically, anytime you get strong centralized government under whatever economic theory you want to attach to it, it turns into authoritarianism.
Well, it where does it have to go? I mean, it doesn't have anywhere to go. Socialism is already a form of control.
Mm-hmm.
And so you unionize everybody into a social conformity. And when outliers, yes, I am an outlier. When we don't conform, then they need to get a little bit more strict.
Yep. And that's what it all comes down to. I mean, you've got this pleasant sounding word, socialism. It sounds very social.
Kind of like progressivism. Progressive. Who wouldn't want to progress?
Right. Or for that matter, who wouldn't want to commune with their fellow man?
Exactly.
But
pretty words, bastardized for dirty deeds.
Exactly.
Done dirt cheap.
Oh no, it ain't dirt cheap.
You know, it's going to cost you a lot.
It comes with a big tax price tag.
Well, I mean, it's going to cost you a lot because liberty and freedom is actually free. Although my new article coming out discusses just how free
freedom is.
And what costs they come at. And you know what? If we keep heading down this path to global socialism, there's going to be a lot of costs that go along with it.
Oh, yeah. And not just financial costs.
No. Freedom. Freedom as we know it, as we've experienced it in this country for the past
240 some odd years
at least.
But you know, even the freedom we enjoy here, it is not nearly as free as it once was. But it's still a damn sight freer than most of the world.
Well, I mean, that's easy for you to say. You're a white guy, so am I. So we've
It's
always
news to me.
We've always had it free, freer. I don't know. There seems to be a lot of people with all kinds of color skin that have a lot better lives than I've ever had.
And, you know, there was something that I posted on Cold Dead Hands yesterday talking about that, you know, because Kamala Harris, first woman of color vice presidential candidate on a major party ticket. That's their disclaimer.
You've got the same major party.
But I did a post on Cold Dead Hands talking about, I remember when firsts actually meant something. I mean, like Jesse Owens, Jackie Robinson, Amelia Earhart, you know,
Hank Aaron.
People whose accomplishments spoke for themselves, and the fact that they were the first black or the first woman or the first this or that was incidental to the accomplishment or the achievement itself.
Yeah, Michael Jordan.
Somebody called me out on that and said, how is that any different than Donald Trump announcing that he was going to appoint a woman to the Supreme Court? I said, it's not really different. It is a political move. The main difference being that he already had a woman in mind. He had ACB ready to go. She was on the short list when Kavanaugh was nominated.
Yep.
So he already had her in mind, had her ready to go, and reportedly was saving her for RBG's seat anyway. That's a big difference from having somebody in mind and just not telling everybody who it is yet and saying you're going to nominate a woman versus saying I'm going to pick a vice presidential candidate who is a woman of color and then having to go find somebody that fits that physical description.
Well, you know,
And that's because the first outweighs the merit in some people's mind. They want to get that first, they want to be in the history books, and the merit part is incidental instead of the other way around, where the merit or the achievement or the talent is the leading factor and the race or the gender or whatever is incidental, giving them a first.
Well, I've been pondering this for a while, since Joe Biden even came up as a potential president-elect. President, I love the background for Uncle Joe sitting in his basement with
Office of the President-elect.
Yeah, that cracks me up.
There's no such office.
I've been pondering how it was possible that they could pull that off and convince as many people that Joe Biden was the best candidate for the leader of the free world, the president of the United States.
Well, and that you could argue that plays right into the whole Great Reset thing that everybody's talking about now, because, like I said, they're just starting to publicly talk about it. Politicians and media people, but it's been talked about in tinfoil hat circles for a while now.
Well, I get it, but we're talking Joe Biden.
I know, but this is what I'm getting at. They're talking about it now that the media has projected Joe Biden as the winner, thinking that, okay, they've got global Joe elected, so now they can start talking about it.
But wasn't it once upon a time that you were elected to that position? You were suggested as a candidate to that position because you had something that qualified you for that position. My question lies, what has Joe Biden ever done that you could convince half the population, the voting population, regardless of what you've been told the outcome is of this election? Nearly, now I'm praying that after all is said and done, we'll find out that it was far less. But there's a lot of people who actually support this guy as a candidate for president.
And I would venture to say that there are fewer who support him as a candidate as there are who oppose
Orange Man bad.
Orange Man bad. Hang on. Orange Man bad.
I guess it blows my mind, But I wrote my book,
yeah,
and that book is based on MK Ultra.
Mm-hmm.
That's based on the CIA initiatives of the 50s. All right, so you wonder why I'm a tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy guy. I am, by the way, but I usually dig into those things that are provable, that are tangible. MK Ultra, provable, tangible, happened.
Well, provable, tangible after the fact. At the time, it was just a conspiracy theory.
Well, I mean, again, we're Monday morning armchairing this whole scenario because did they know that MK Ultra, they knew in 53 when they initiated the program? They knew again in 60 when Nixon was running against Kennedy, and Kennedy actually stole an election from Nixon. And guess what? This whole scenario played out in 1960, and I wasn't born then, so I know very little about it. But
firsthand,
Nixon was actually approached and said, they told him, you need to contest this, it was stolen from you. And he said, no, I don't want to undermine the process. I want the people to believe that the process is still intact.
Oh,
noble.
Does any of that sound like now? Except for somebody wants to undermine the process because the process is fundamentally broken.
It is fundamentally broken. It's been broken for a long time. Okay, so in 60 they knew it. In 64 they were told to stop. They didn't. In 67 they were again told to stop, and in 68 Nixon, oh my gosh, Nixon, horrible guy, right?
I am not a crook.
We were told he was a horrible guy. He told the CIA in no uncertain terms that the project needed to end. Period. You were not going to continue testing on innocent people. It still didn't end. And in 1973, they tried to burn all the paperwork. All of it. They tried to destroy every stitch of paperwork regarding all of the CIA initiatives surrounding MK Ultra and the brainwashing and the horrible, horrible stuff they did to their test subjects, now, including active military.
Now, let's just stop right there. You said this started in 53.
53.
Now we're up to 73.
20 years of brainwashing. And all the technology that also went into the 60s. Hey, we got to the moon.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there who believe we didn't. And who knows? I don't know. Maybe it was a movie set. I doubt it. But maybe it was. That's a great conspiracy. The fact of the matter is they tried to hide this. They were told not to do it. They were told by presidents not to do it. They continued to bury it. And then they tried to destroy the evidence. Fortunately for us, there were over 20,000 documents they couldn't get their hands on that actually came out and proved that MK Ultra
did in fact exist.
So, you want to know how tinfoil Stetsons came into being? They lied to us about some really, really devious shit they did in the 50s, 60s, and 70s to unsuspecting innocent people. And then you expect us to believe that they haven't been rigging the vote?
Well, you know, one thing that they probably learned through that couple, 2 or 3 decades, 50s, 60s, 70s, is how not to get caught.
Well, hey, I'm sure they have learned their lessons.
Although we have had issues since then. I mean, the whole Iran-Contra thing, that was just a conspiracy theory until it wasn't.
Fast and Furious.
The Gulf of Tonkin, what got us into the Vietnam War, the official story, most of it never happened.
You know what else I think is just coincidental? And by the way, I don't believe in coincidence.
Goinky dinks.
Joe Biden entered the political ring in 1973.
1970.
Well, 70 in Newcastle.
Right.
But the actual federal D.C. ring of politics, 73 is the magic year for him.
Well, and like you said, what qualifications, what achievements does he have? He's managed to get elected and re-elected to public office for 50 years.
Yeah.
That's an achievement. Not that he's actually done anything productive or beneficial in that 50 years of service.
What's that say about the residents of Maryland?
Oh, same thing that...
I'm sorry, folks.
Same thing it says about the residents of San Francisco who keep electing Nancy Pelosi or the
Feinstein.
Or
on,
Vermont.
people.
Seriously, Bernie Sanders, Vermont.
Listen, guys, we're trying to keep these short and sweet because they are kind of off target. This one was definitely about conspiracy theories. The next one might be about conspiracy theories too, because there's so much surrounding all of this. But for now, we're going to sign off
and tell you to go look up The Great Reset.
Check out my book, The Frail New World, Digital Conspiracy. It's an interesting read, to say the least.
If you go to our Cold Dead Hands Facebook page or our at CDH2A Parlor page,
yep,
I posted an article about The Great Reset on both of those.
Yep. So check it all out. Check out our store, because that's how we fund everything we do. We really appreciate you guys following along with our YouTube channel. We're eventually going to swing this over to a Rumble channel. Is that what it is?
That's what they call it.
All right, that's what we're thinking about doing too. So
let's get ready to rumble.
We'll see what happens in the future. We appreciate y'all following along with our perspectives. Later.
Peace.